Hey, everybody. Welcome to our March community meeting. We are so excited to have you join us today. I'm Courtney with the DePaul Esports program. I serve as the Director of Student Involvement, and I'm joined today, at least for now, by the rest of our esports student leadership team. So, guys, you want to introduce yourselves? Alex, you want to take it away?
Sure. Hey everyone, my name is Alex Rodriguez. I'm a senior here at DePaul studying computer science, and I also work in the Esports Center as well as the president of the Rocket League team. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything.
Hey everybody, my name is Matt Burkholz, otherwise known as Matt Beach. I am the liaison for the Smash Brothers teams as well as the League of Legends teams at DePaul University, and I am a first-year graduate student studying community psychology. So great to see you all.
Hey everyone, I am Tom, and my gamer tag is Prime, and I am a senior here at DePaul studying computer science, and I'm the liaison for the FPS communities, which includes Call of Duty, CSGO, Valorant, Overwatch, and CSGO.
Cool. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. New this year, we're trying out our community meetings in a very different way, which obviously is streaming them live to you on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, all the channels. So one of the things we encourage you to do is interact with us throughout the meeting. You know, if you have questions or things you're curious about or just want to give a shout out, feel free to put those in the comments. We can see them throughout the whole thing. So, if you're on Twitch, glad to hear that people have been waiting all day. It seems like we've got some excitement. So keep those comments coming. We're happy to pull them in and answer questions as we go. So one of the other great things about our community meetings, if you aren't familiar, we give away great stuff. So if you check into today's meeting, I've actually got it right here. We're giving away a HyperX, what's it called? Alloy Core RGB keyboard. So scan in that with that QR code, or click the link that's in the chat right now. You'll be routed to D-Hub for your chance to win that keyboard. Whether you're watching in real time now or if you're watching the video on demand, we'll do check-ins through Sunday, and then we'll pick a winner and announce it in next week's weekly updates. So to keep things moving here, we're gonna provide some updates for our teams right now. So Alex, I think I'm kicking it over to you.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So the three teams I liaison are Rocket League, Beat Saber, and Minecraft. I can go ahead and start with Rocket League. In February, Rocket League competed weekly in EGF and in GG Leagues. They're currently seeded 5 out of 11th for Rocket League Division A for GG League, so that's really awesome to see. As well as we had 3 EGF wins against Marist, Niagara, and Fairfield. I believe the 2 against Niagara and Fairfield were both 3-0 sweeps, so that's really awesome to see. For Beat Saber, there's no really major updates. There has been a few roster changes, which is also exciting to see. And then qualifiers are beginning soon for the Collegiate Virtual Reality Esports League, also known as CVRE. So that's going to be cool coming up. And then lastly, for Minecraft has been continuing their weekly Minecraft Sundays, basically every Sunday at 6 o'clock Central Time. Hop into the Minecraft channel in the DePaul Esports Discord for a variety of different events and mini games. A lot of them include like in-game prizes and stuff. So it's a lot of fun and definitely something to worth check out. And yeah, I think that's the updates for the programs that I run.
Yeah, I think one of the things I'd add, if you're considering joining the Minecraft community and if you haven't had a chance yet, they're still getting new members. You know, it's really, I think it's this place that people are starting to go to on a really regular basis. So yeah, check it out if you haven't had the opportunity to do so yet. I think that they're talking about potentially, and Alex, I don't know if you heard about this, like some sort of like server reset again. I don't know if you saw the chats around that.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm not exactly sure if it's based off of game updates or if it's based on university like years, but I know they are planning on resetting it kind of periodically and making the old worlds available to download for those who participate in it. So it's not like there's going to be people light years ahead of you. There's kind of always a fresh start for everyone. And like Courtney said, I mean, it's a really welcoming community and just a great place to be. So definitely worth checking out. It's a lot of fun. And hopefully when 1.17 comes out, that'll be really cool to see all the new changes.
Yeah. All right, so then moving on, I'll talk about all of the FPS games. So I'll start off with Overwatch, and Overwatch is currently has a 3-1 record in both TESPA and EGF after a forfeit loss against Miami MUOH. I don't remember what the school name is, but yeah. And
Yeah,
then
Miami University of Ohio.
there we go.
There's two. There's the Miami University in Florida that's like the big orange and green, and then there's the Miami University in Ohio too.
Yeah, we weren't looking forward to that match because they actually have a prior Overwatch League player, but we weren't able to get 5 for that due to work. So yeah, and then we also managed to get a record of 3-1 in EGF after a win against Marist College, and that's it for Overwatch. And then we'll move on to Counter-Strike. So Counter-Strike recently ended CSL with a 5-5 record, just barely not making it into playoffs, and that concluded their CSL season. And then for FACEIT, I don't have any updates as of right now, but we'll probably have them for you on the next updates. Moving on to COD, they're currently 8-1 in CSL, and I believe their only loss is against U of I Blue, which is so 8-1 overall, very strong record right there. And yeah, that's the only league they're currently participating in. As for Valorant, they're actually 4-0 in CF1, and wait, I think I'm getting an update. Hold on. Oh, it's actually 5-0. They just played a match right now, and they changed it over to 5-0 for CF1.
Live updates as we're going. Can't get,
live
can't
updates.
get any more real than that.
Just ended. So yeah, that's the record for Valorant, and I'm not sure about the FACEIT record as of right now. As for Rainbow Six, their season has ended with a 2-4 record in the R6 Championship, and yeah, that should be it for all of the FPS games.
Very nice. As far as League of Legends goes, every single one of our each of our 5 teams for League of Legends, so that's our varsity, junior varsity, Ruby, and Sapphire teams, as well as Academy Jade and Amber teams, are all super busy. They've been competing in all sorts of different leagues, from College League of Legends for varsity, junior varsity in CSL, and then all 5 in GG leagues. With GG leagues, that league just ended up starting just over the past couple of weeks. Things have really kicked off. It's a bit of a rocky start for the junior varsity and academy teams, although varsity is still doing super hot right now. So looking to keep that momentum going forward for varsity, while the other teams, start to bring things back. Just got to get, got to get things started, and then everything should pick up really soon. In CSL, however, things are looking a lot brighter. In the Star League specifically, we have both JV Ruby and JV Sapphire teams. They're both doing really well, both top 3 in their respective divisions, and they are looking really strong moving forward into the playoffs. As for Smash Brothers in particular, we have our varsity and our junior varsity teams both active in different leagues right now. Right now, our varsity team for Smash Brothers Ultimate is playing in EGF. And we actually have our next match coming up later on tonight. So that'll be going on at 8 against Niagara University. I know that if you were looking on D-Hub, it says we're playing against University of Cincinnati, but there was a little bit of a hiccup with the schedules over the past couple of weeks. So things ended up getting swapped around a little bit. So we're going to be playing against Niagara. And yeah, I mean, the varsity team is looking really strong. We've actually just secured first place in the overall standings for EGF so far. So looking to keep the momentum looking strong. I believe the score right now is 10-1 overall. So looking pretty shiny. So we're going to try and make that 11-1 right now. As for JV, the junior varsity team for Smash Brothers Ultimate, there's a brand new league that just started up over the past couple of weeks that junior varsity has gotten involved in, which is the Collegiate Super Smash Brothers League. It's a little bit more grassroots. It's not as might not be quite as flashy or as crazy looking as something like EGF, but it's been showing a lot of promise. There's a lot of really fierce competition, so it's been really exciting to try and get the team going in there, really starting to test their skills after having practice for so many weeks in a row. So right now the junior varsity team is 1-1, so even record. We're going to try and move that. We're going to try and bump that up to a positive record later on this week. They will be playing on Friday at, I believe, should be Friday at about 8 p.m. So I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be live streamed this time around. Usually they said they were going to live stream it, but there's a little bit of a hiccup with that last week. So if that does end up happening, I'll be sure to post it around in the different Discords for both DSmash, which is the DePaul Smash Club, as well as the main DePaul Esports Discord server. So keep your eyes posted for that.
Nice. Yeah, one of the others, Matt, did you talk about Big East action for League of Legends? I don't think you did. right?
Oh, that's right. I totally,
Yeah.
totally forgot
Yeah.
about that.
They're also
Yes.
they're competing Saturdays at noon and 1:30, and they're in first
Yep.
place as well right now, which is really exciting. So
Yep.
the we actually have the Big East Championship, and we're going to be putting out more information about this in the upcoming weeks. The Big East Championships are coming up, and it's going to be League of Legends is on the 27th, March 27th and April 10th. They're taking the week off in between for Easter. And then the Rocket League Championship is going to be March 28th, right, Alex? It's a Sunday.
I believe so. That sounds
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and I think we're going in as the 4 seed, but I know that we're gonna like play up on that because it's. I mean, we took second in the Big East MAC Challenge. Like I have a feeling we're gonna do pretty well. But we did have a couple questions come in as we were going. Alex, do you know what version of Minecraft?
Yeah, that's a good question. So right now we're on 1.16.4 Java version. I know 1.16.5 was released maybe like a few weeks ago, so we should be up to that soon enough. And then, yeah, like I said, as soon as 1.17 drops, we'll switch over to that and maybe wipe the server as well to get more details on that. But yeah, definitely for now, 1.16.4. Cool.
And also possibly the most important conversation of the night. We've got an argument of who Tom's biggest fan is. So Tom, any comments?
I don't know. I think it has to be my mom. There's no way. There's no way they outscaled that.
I think that's fair, all things considered.
Yeah. All right. Well, we know, for a few weeks here, we were talking about the State Street Showdown. And, if you were following it all, you will see that every plan that we had evaporated in a matter of 24 hours when our friends at Roosevelt changed up their participation status, I guess you could say. So we found out on, when was it, Tom? It was like Thursday at like 4 p.m. that Roosevelt wasn't going to be able to participate in any of the 6 titles that we had been planning for 4 months. But we'll talk about that in another podcast. But we did want to give you some updates on how everything went. So, Tom, I think we're going to turn it over to you here for a second.
Yeah, sure. So the State Street Showdown was last week, and or actually, I think maybe 2 weeks ago now. I'm not sure. Time flies, but after a last minute withdrawal, like Courtney was talking about, we decided to like pivot our competition and invited any universities willing to compete in the event. So we actually got a lot of help from Ball State, University, Seton Hall University, and Siena College, and so all of these teams came by last minute, and they really helped us put the event back together. And we ended up with a 4-0 record overall in each individual showdown. And I'll pass it on to Alex to talk about all of the casters that got involved and so on.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Tom. During State Street Showdown, we were fortunate enough to have a student body of casters commentate our games. And today I'm really happy to introduce Eclipse MT from League of Legends, as well as Shivom and Foof from Rocket League, who took place casting State Street Showdown. We're super excited to get an insight on their experience and knowledge used while commentating the games. Eclipse, Shivom, and Foof, thanks so much for joining us.
Of course,
Thank you so much for inviting us.
Awesome.
It's always a pleasure.
Cool. So I guess what I'll do here is we'll kind of just ask questions, but feel free to kind of talk, whatever, ramble on as well. I guess we can kind of just do like a roundtable style. And I think the first thing I'd like to do is maybe you guys could just have a basic introduction about yourself, stuff like Meiji University, stuff like that. And I think we could start with Foof, perhaps.
Well, hi, I'm Foof, obviously, you see in the lovely lower left-hand corner. I was super fortunate not only to have gotten a chance, but to actually get a chance to work with these guys at DePaul. Great group of people. It was so much fun. I go to a school on the East Coast called Elizabeth City State University. Currently, I am focusing on a history degree with a minor in secondary education, so high schoolers beware. So it's just, so excited not only to work with a great group of people, but everyone's just so close in age here and a lot of like-minded individuals. So it was a lot of fun.
Awesome. What about you, Michael?
All right, so I'm going to follow through. I'm Michael G. You may know me as Eclipse MT on the Discord or in any other place you may have encountered me on the net. And as Carbo Juni had said, as Alex has said, I had commentated for League of Legends for the State Street Showdown. I am a senior at DePaul for their game design program, so I'm also one of those people who are pretty shortly going to be leaving the university as well. That's basically as much as I can provide in terms of an introduction.
Michael, do you have a job lined up for when you graduate yet?
I'm honestly inclined to going full-time indie just out of college. I really am inclined on being a full-time indie developer.
Nice.
It's a very risky field, but I feel that that's with all of the stuff that I have going on in my head with the various mentalities I have. I already said stay away from AAA. Don't go on that. Don't get on board the AAA development boat, because that's just a means to kill your own mental state. But that's besides the point.
Yeah, it's good to know. Good to know. Cool. What about you, Jeremy?
Hello, I'm Jeremy Bly. I'm a freshman at DePaul, and I play Rocket League with Alex. It's pretty cool. But I remember he told me, he was like, hey, Jeremy, there's this opportunity you can cast. And I was like, I've never done this before, so why not? And then I did it. It was really fun. Thank you. I appreciate that. Foof was amazing. I haven't seen a rookie or I guess intermediate caster do so well before. It was like he was a pro. But I'm majoring in criminology, minoring in psychology. Hopefully I can take it to law school, but anything can happen. Who knows what'll happen in the next couple of years. Other than school, I like to game. I do find myself running from time to time. Photography is also pretty cool, but that pretty sums up everything. I guess that makes me.
Cool. Awesome. And before we continue, I just want to highlight that if anyone has any questions in Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook, feel free to leave a comment and we can try to address it. Just while we have the commentators, it's really cool to get some insight from them. So I know, Jeremy, you said that you were new to commentating. So for Foof and Michael, how did you guys get into that initially?
You want to take this one for a little bit, Mike?
Okay, I guess I'll start out. So, well, I mean, I got into esports relatively recently in terms of my whole lifespan when it comes to the gaming community. It was around 2015, and where my first introduction to esports was the competitive Smash community when there were these students a year above me in high school. They actually had introduced me to the several notable matches at the time, like Mango versus Leffen at Apex, and to provide just an example. And so that's how I got into esports as well. So Smash basically provided the foundation in my development in esports. I went into community college out of high school, so I got involved in the game club at community college as well. But unfortunately, in that regard, we as a community college, having such a small student body that wasn't really willing to immerse themselves in the competitive gaming atmosphere, wasn't really the ideal environment to facilitate that sort of development for that esports passion. So that was kind of a hiccup to that sort of following. I will have to mention, though, that my development as a commentator in particular had to have been influenced by some happenstance meeting of Matt Beach. You might know what I'm talking about, Matt.
Yeah.
Before I ever came to DePaul, in a Mario Kart tournament held at an electronics store in Milwaukee Avenue in the outer suburbs of Chicago.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was actually a really fun. That was a really fun event. It was. You hadn't gone. You weren't a DePaul student quite yet at that point, right? That was.
Yeah, I was still in community college at that time.
Okay.
And I was literally going out with a handful of my friends from community college, which, mind you, this was still approximately a 1-hour drive from Crystal Lake, Illinois.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it was actually a fun happenstance meeting too. But when I actually had come to DePaul, and the first thing I did, of course, was show up at the student involvement fair that fall term. And I ended up encountering Matt Beach. He was like, "You look familiar." And then of course we realized that we encountered ourselves at that Mario Kart tournament that's quite back. But ultimately, the reason why I mentioned this is because I don't think I would have ever been good at developing well as a commentator had it not been for that chance encounter, because I think I would never have gotten all the commentating opportunities as easily as I would have had with the Smash Club, because that's how I got my start with commentating Smash games. League of Legends came next, but I don't think I would have ever developed as easily as a commentator had it not been for that initial meeting with Matt Beach before I had come to DePaul.
Cool. Very cool. It's funny that little.
Yeah, I'm honored to know that it was
the cornerstone, man, holding it up.
It's very nice. It's always really nice to hear that, the Smash Brothers organization, like we've been able to like kind of provide you that kind of springboard. You know, we've always really tried to make things like accessible. It's like, you know, if you want to hop on the microphone, even if you haven't done it before, you totally worth a shot.
Yeah.
Give it a try.
I admire that sort of stuff that you guys have, Matt. Props to you. League of Legends is a
Means a lot.
commentator game. I'm gonna keep rambling for just a little bit. Promise, I'll stop in a little bit. But League of Legends is a commentator game. It's unfortunately very inaccessible as a game. There's, aside from the game knowledge that is really necessary to understand League at a foundational level, there's really not that many opportunities available for aspiring casters to sort of get their foot on the door, because all of those leagues that the school competes in, they're all occupied by freelance casters employed by, like, per se, ESL for a couple games, and then GG leagues for maybe a couple games. They all employ their own freelance casters that just go on for a couple of things, and they're all professionals that get hired from the same talent pool. So there's
absolutely. Cool.
So basically, it's the condensed version of my introduction is casting. I'm going to leave it to the rest of you guys to take it forward from that point.
For sure. Appreciate the insight. It's funny that your interaction with Matt Beach led to that. What about you, Foof?
I unfortunately have no tying stories to anybody in the call. As much as I would love to like throw a hook and harken back to times past, I don't have any of those. It actually is very similar to a lot of people that talk about these things like this. I did it because I was asked to do it, and I was like, I'll yell at a game. Why not? It seems kind of fun. I was helping
to yell about a game.
Exactly. I don't know which direction that came from, but exactly. I was helping a smaller league get kicked off their inaugural season. I was just like making terrible graphics for them and helping just kind of keep it afloat. And they're like, yeah, you should do this. And I was like, all right. And so I did it a couple of times, had a really good blast. And I've worked with a couple of other minor leagues up until now. UR is a big one. Odin Esports is another one that I'm working with. And so because of the ties I made there, I was able to get a chance here with DePaul. And so that was really awesome. And so it's just do it if you're interested in it. It's hard to find those certain introductions, but if you can find a way to just do it and get yourself out there, that is really just how you can get started with it.
Awesome. That's great to see. I guess my next question that I would like to ask you guys is kind of what was it like, commentating the State Street Showdown? And for this one, I'd like to maybe start with Jeremy to kind of get your insight on what that experience was like for you, especially being a new commentator.
I would have to say it was really enjoyable. Luckily with Foof, it was very natural between us. So it was just back and forth. I guess.
Carried me.
Thank you. It was like almost as if back and forth, like, I just lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It was almost like back and forth. We're kind of throwing different comments at each other, and we're almost like poking at each other. And I felt that it was really fun, and it was a new experience. I was kind of like, I don't know if it was nervous. I don't know if it was necessarily. I didn't know how to prepare for it, but in the end, it's definitely something that I was glad I got to try out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think. Okay, go ahead.
You can go.
Okay, I think you were poking a bit at Alex too. I remember that.
Yeah. Well, you see, Alex and I are, I would say we're pretty good friends, and everyone on the Rocket League team thought it was pretty funny. Yeah,
only the best of friends will roast them live on Twitch. It's all that matters,
That's true. That's true. Well, one thing I did notice, Foof, and kind of going into the Rocket League match, I noticed you were like kind of setting up Jeremy, like you were like asking him questions, which I thought was really cool. Just kind of observing that.
Well, the big thing is I was told that it was his first. And so I've had the very wonderful opportunity not only to work with you, Jeremy, but with a bunch of casters who have never worked before. And so it's hard to like want to go, and what I prefer is a hybrid style where you don't have that true play-by-play and a true color. You let both people play because that allows people's emotion, their passion, and really just their character to shine more. So that way they're not stuck in a role. And it's hard to set someone up who doesn't know the ins and out of it. So the best way I tried to approach it was, it's just make it a conversation. Ask him what he sees in the game, bounce it off of him, let him run. And then all of a sudden, you saw it. All of a sudden, he just picks it up and starts going. And I get to sit back and go, look at him go. It was awesome, dude.
Yeah, no, that was really cool to see. I really enjoyed watching that. Cool. So I guess, Michael, what was your experience like commentating for the State Street Showdown for League of Legends?
Yeah, I'm actually glad that that you guys are in, because you can provide a much fresher perspective, so I can bounce off and give you guys the perspective from a sort of veteran of that scene. Because I mean, I'm actually pretty glad that we were actually able to round up this many people to commentate these games, because I mean, we as the Shoutcaster community of DePaul, I don't even know if we could call ourselves a committee, because it's pretty much a ragtag bunch of students that just like to come in and show up whenever they want to and then just commentate the games. But for this issue of State Street Showdown, it was probably the most unique experience I would ever have when it comes to commentating, because I literally did it from a hotel room corridor. So
if there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah. I literally did my entire setup in a hotel corridor. So that's
dedication.
So there's the kind of dedication right there, when I just had this one portable setup with a portable recorder that I tried to use as boom arm, but really didn't work out. But I would actually go up ahead and extend this all the way to last year's, the previous issue of the State Street Showdown, the one in February 2020, because that was actually a really interesting setup as well. Because the RMU producers basically told us that we would be cordoned off inside this tiny little bunker room inside the RMU esports studio, I guess you can call it that way. And due to how haphazard, I guess I can call it, the entire thing was set up. The entire thing was basically set up with as minimal equipment that they could use. Both me and the guy I was commentating with talked out of the same microphone. And it was one of those, I think it was these Audio-Technica microphones that was plugged into a Focusrite Scarlett interface.
I have that.
Which I typically do not advise. I literally do not advise for those types of microphones having two people into one input. Get a separate microphone if you want to mic two people. These Shure microphones, some of them can cost about $50 used. With an interface.
Get him, Mike. Get him, Mike. Get on him.
On an interface.
Yeah, no, for sure. Everyone needs their own mic. That's some good advice for sure. I guess,
Alex, if I can really quick, I think it's interesting to hear you talk about Michael, the just like what we're seeing more in the community now, because I also do, I don't know if he's watching, but like Tim and Issei did the Valorant match, and I thought they did spectacular.
Valorant.
Yeah, and Tim
they were amazing.
Tim's
I really wish they could come in, but they're unfortunately in class apparently.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, but Tim's shoutcast, he shoutcasts all of the Valorant Academy matches, like just from his Twitch channel, which is like Freeze 10, and he does a great job. And I know it's one thing, you know, to cast with somebody else, but to do it on your own, I think presents a whole new load of challenges. So you did a great job with League.
Oh yeah, doing it on my own. I forgot to mention that I did the entire State Street Showdown League match by myself with no additional guy to assist me. And
I'm sorry.
And it's definitely a good point to contrast, because Foof and Jeremy, they had the opportunity to bounce off in each other and turn it into basically a mini conversation. I find solo commentating to be a slightly more difficult than commentating with a partner, because of course you have the guy to bounce off and reciprocate each other's opinions as well.
Well,
but then again, solo commentating, I guess, comes down to how pretty your voice sounds. And then if you can, in my book, I guess that just ends up sounding like Joe Buck or Al Michaels or any of the other famous shoutcaster that you know for traditional sports.
Hey, they're getting a lot of money for that.
Heck yeah.
So, right. Don't knock them. But no, I think, you know.
But at least they got the partners too. They can get guaranteed partner duos.
Yeah. I'm sure Alex has got some more questions, but I would say one of the other things, like this shoutcasting at DePaul, is one thing we're trying to, I guess, refine, you could say. And I think in particular, like one thing I'm thinking about at an administrator level is like, how can we create a dedicated space for students to cast that either want to try it out for the first time, or, you know, like Tim does, or like you do, Michael, like when people have matches that they can go into a space and, you know, cast from a place at DePaul. Like maybe our teams are competing in the gaming center, in the Loop, and we have somebody, you know, in a nearby room that's able to cast as well. So yeah, if for any students, if you're interested in taking part of that or want to help develop plans, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always happy to take the help. But Alex, I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, for sure. No, definitely great insight on all accounts. That was really cool to hear. I guess kind of like one of my last questions I have is obviously like what is the preparation like going into the games? I mean, how familiar do you have to be with the the title that you're going to be commentating for? And I think for this one we could start with Foof.
Oh no. Well, I think the most important thing depends on what game it is. Like if you look at a lot of esports games, Rocket League, I'm sitting in the easiest chair. It's legitimately soccer plus hockey plus cars. So it's as an outsider point of view, if I am sitting here commentating the game, you understand I want to put ball in opponent's net. And as long as I have more points at the end of the game, I win.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not too bad. And then when you start wanting to get deeper into commentating, my personal thing is I love to know what the players think. I didn't get the chance to do that in this one, where I have gone and I've interviewed a ton of captains before games. I try to get a personal story that I want to bring to the game. Maybe this is two different teams with really close records. Maybe this could mean something in playoffs down the road in the league. So I think it's how do you want to prepare? In Rocket League for me is I love making stories. It's what do you want to try and bring to a certain game, a series, or bring out of a player a game or a series. And so it's just you can get in as much as you put in, basically. So it's not super intensive, at least on my part from Rocket League. But I know Michael's going to tell you a lot of different things when you look at MOBAs where you got champions, ability names, items, metas, like Rocket League, C-ball, hit ball, man. It's not.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that definitely makes sense. And Jeremy, did you have like similar experiences also commentating Rocket League? I know you're a little familiar with the game.
I would say I'm a little familiar with the game, but I think the hardest thing for me was trying to think. Okay, I know some of the players that are playing. I know Foof and I were talking about, I guess, like some of their play styles, and this person's aggressive. This person will go for demos, whatever. But trying to translate that into, I guess, real time casting and being okay, this is what they may be thinking, and then going to another team which I had no clue anything about them. I didn't even know who was playing, so I just had to look and be okay, this is what is happening, and I'm going to try and apply what I already know to try and explain to the viewers kind of what's going on. So I think it was difficult to just I guess figure out exactly what to say.
Yeah, absolutely. You better not ratted me out about being just a one-trick demo player, but all good.
I've heard that.
Cool. And then, so what about you, Michael? Obviously, League of Legends is a bit more of a complex game in terms of the multiple champions and everything. What is that like?
Yeah, League of Legends kind of has a lot of preparation going on to it. I mean, even then, the last League game I played before that point was like way, way, way back. I think it was the last game I played was literally right before the State Street Showdown of 2020. So I actually have to admit to there being a lapse of game knowledge at that point. But League of Legends is admittedly is very game knowledge heavy as a title. And if you can get away with, and if you can basically demonstrate that you have some appropriate game knowledge to try to help the viewers understand what exactly is going on, because again, you have the different champions that play in a unique manner. You have the effectively 5 different viewpoints of the entire game. You've got some of it being like basically like one moment can go over your head and you couldn't and you have, as a commentator or even as a viewer, probably wouldn't ever realized it. As an observer, you probably have to keep your eyes put on the whole thing. And it largely just revolves around trying to understand the game and trying to help others understand the game is the short version I would put it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely a very different experience than Rocket League, which, as Foof said, just hit ball. Steve ball, hit ball. I really
There's
like
no
that.
meta, right? You don't have to worry about, oh no, he's got a Dominus. I got to bring the ZSR out to counter it. Like,
yeah.
True. Cool. So I guess just kind of to wrap things up, my last question for you guys would be, what advice do you guys have for individuals looking into getting into casting? And I think for this one, we could probably start with Michael.
getting into casting, I mean, well, obviously I demonstrated very early on in this interview that my whole introduction to casting was pretty much just a twist of fate that I never even expected too. So, I mean, it will come naturally. Just honestly stay your course. But it does require some effort on your part to try to find these outlets that you can utilize to basically introduce yourselves into casting. Like, for example, I've mentioned the Smash Club. They're very generous as to accepting new talent. Granted, there is, to some extent, some preference toward more senior commentators for obvious reasons. They like to reserve their more experienced folk onto some more important matches, but all that experience and time will come naturally. So I would just suggest, as someone who had been commentating a handful of matches for League of Legends and Smash for the university for basically the whole time I've been in the university, which I did come as a transfer student, mind you. I would just suggest to try to use whatever opportunity you have and then accumulate the experience from there. And then pretty much soon you'll get thrown into an important match like the State Street Showdown, or even if you're lucky, try to go alongside the professional casters who get hired on to cast events for ESL or what have you. It's wishful thinking, but and I'm just going to leave it at that.
For sure. Definitely good advice to get yourself out there. What about you, Jeremy?
I think the one piece of advice I'd give anyone is just have fun with it. I went in, I didn't know what to expect with casting, and I kind of tried to figure out what was going on and how to flow with everything. And the more I just sat back and acted like I was talking to you, Alex, online, or talking to any of my friends, the more enjoyable it became for me. So luckily with Fufa, I found his energy very enjoyable, and it was just like, he's a big teddy bear. You could throw things back and forth, and he's funny, he's nice. And so when I was able to kind of get my flow, it made casting a lot easier and also a better experience.
Nice. That's awesome to hear. And what about for you, Fuf? What's some good advice for him?
Well, I was working on something. I don't know if you saw it. Unfortunately, I'm not an artist, but just be like Nike. Just do it. All right. You want to get started however you can. However you can find a way to do it. Even if it's just like you approach Miss Courtney, it seems like you guys have such a cool thing here. You guys have not only such a great organization, but it seems like such a great group of people. This is a low stress environment that you can go and get better at, it seems. So if you want an opportunity, reach out to these people. They will want to listen to you and probably let you try it. So you just have to try it and just do it. And the only way you will get better at something or will get experience is by doing it, like Micah was talking about. And like Jeremy said, Jeremy had never done it before, but he gets out there, and my man was backpacking me after game 3. It was great. So,
yeah,
Awesome.
you actually brought up a good point, Foof. I actually did want to mention it too, because I actually want to push this sort of commentating discipline as a means to get involved in the esports without actually competing. Courtney actually had this sort of mission statement going on too, with bringing some of the player managers and all the other behind the scenes support staff on stream on occasion. So I actually have to give props to all of us currently on this call right now to sort of provide this environment where we can demonstrate our ability to sort of fulfill that mission statement of, hey, we have an opportunity for you guys to get involved without necessarily being a competitor, because there are a lot of disciplines that go into esports besides competing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Awesome. I think that's pretty much everything. Again, thank you guys so much for being on here. And also thank you for all the commentators that were not able to make it. We really appreciate the work you guys put in for the State Street Showdown.
Round of applause for those.
Couldn't have done it without you guys. But yeah, cool. Anything like last to throw in at all? That pretty much sums it up.
There is one thing I do want to say. As far as like, I guess having casting as an output for newer students, I feel there are a lot of people, I know Courtney and I were talking about this, that don't really know what the Esports Center is and kind of what goes on in it. And a lot of people think
coronavirus is a thing.
Right, yeah, and having this new, I guess, virtual landscape. So I guess people seeing the new opportunity there is and being like, oh, okay, this is more than just gaming, I feel will be really beneficial, because I know there's a lot of people like myself that like to talk, they like to hear their own voice. So I feel a lot of people could take this information and be like, hey, maybe I'll try it out.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's a great point. Awesome. Well, yeah, again, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you guys being on here. And it's been great. Thank you guys.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right, talk to you guys later.
Great. Well, thanks everybody. Looks like we've got some more. I don't know if you've noticed. Alex was, I think, reading the chats as we were going through. He's getting a lot of comments, and there's seems to be a new debate flowing instead of who's Tom's biggest fan between Alex and Tom here. But Tim also gave a shout out to DePaul Valorant's playing right now. So feel free. I know you can pull it up. Hopefully you still listen to our meeting, but you can keep an eye on them too. But we've got a couple more updates before we head out for today. First, we're really excited to share. We're going to be partnering with an organization called the Gamehers. The Gamehers is a group that amplifies the voices or amplifies the community for women and femme-identifying people in the gaming community. So I've been talking with the co-founders of the Gamehers for quite some time, and they've been trying to really crack the college market, I guess, if you want to say. But we're excited to say that here upcoming in the next quarter, DePaul is actually going to have the first college chapter of the Gamehers. So we're going to be starting conversations and some meetings and some different things around some different initiatives that are affiliated with the Gamehers. But be sure to keep an eye out on the Discord channel. We're planning to launch a Gamehers specific DePaul channel there. But I'm also really excited to say that as part of the national launch for the Gamehers, they're going to be featuring one of our streamers, Cherry Comfort, who's a player on the Valorant Academy team. So her name's Hiba. She's a senior out of the College of Computing and Digital Media, but she's going to be featured on their national stream. So we're really, really excited for this. There's going to be a couple other events and panels that we're going to have some DePaul community members featured as part of as well. But I personally am really, really excited about this. I know we have a lot of people that want to work, especially here at DePaul, to help amplify space and community for women and femme-identifying people. So I think that this is going to be a really great opportunity for us here at DePaul. And then one other thing, we know you've been asking for this next one, and I think that we're going to have a lot of excitement around this. But at the end of the month, we finally are going to be launching a esports pop-up shop. But the caveat is it's only going to be for 2 weeks. So this is some of the swag that's going to be available. But there's actually, I think right now we're looking at 12 different items and like a ton of different colors. So like there's going to be just different things that are, again, that'll be available for purchase. We'll have some like dry fit shirts, long sleeve shirts, hoodies, crew necks, coats, backpacks, shorts, polos, all sorts of different swag. But I know this is something that a lot of people ask me about it. I don't know, guys, if anybody asks you about it, but we've had a demand for a long time. And with everything else, we just haven't had an infrastructure. So I finally was able to partner with someone to get this off the ground. So our tentative launch date is going to be Wednesday, March 31st. We'll talk about it again in our April meeting in case and we can, walk through a little bit about what's going to be available. But again, it'll only be open for 2 weeks. It'll be that Wednesday, March 31st to Tuesday, April 13th. So I'm excited. I hope you are too. But yeah, I think, guys, I don't know if there's any other announcements or anything else that you want to talk about. If not, I just wanted to remind everybody, oops, I changed the layout to the wrong one here. If you haven't yet, be sure to check into the meeting for your chance to win our alloy. I don't know why I struggle with that word. HyperX Alloy Core RGB keyboard. So got it right here. Obviously, it's pictured here on screen, but just scan that QR code. You'll be directed to DHub, or you can click the link. We'll put it in the chat one more time. But guys, any final announcements, things to share?
No, I think that's everything from me, at least.
Yeah, I think so as well. I could potentially talk about Gallerants, which is something that Hiba is also involved in. But yeah, so for anyone interested, and I'll probably be announcing this on Discord in the next few days, Hiba is actually a moderator in Gallerants, which is a female it's a community for female identifying players to compete with other females, and they run like tournaments and so on. And she had actually reached out and mentioned she was involved with them. So yeah, I'll be posting about that, I think, this at some point this week. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Any students interested.
Cool.
Yeah, I
Matt,
think-
any final thoughts or words of wisdom you want to share with everybody watching?
Words of wisdom. I don't think I have any of those right now. But as far as like other updates, just nothing too much. There's a lot of different competitions coming up for like all of our different games. There's a lot of ways you could check out either live streams. Just check up on like the Discord server where we have where we post like all sorts of like match updates. Any sort of like new like quick events that might be coming up, like anytime that we do like an Among Us collaboration event with like other organizations or just one on our own, like we'll obviously post stuff like that there. And as winter quarter's winding down, we're starting to plan up some new stuff for spring quarter, so keep your eyes peeled for that stuff because that's going to be really exciting.
Cool. Well, it looks like we do have one question about can alumni enter for a chance to win the keyboard? Unfortunately, this one's just open for DePaul students. Since it's connected to Campus Connect credentials, people have to log in order to be eligible to win. But keep an eye out. We'll have more giveaways for all of our different community members. We have got some more tricks up our sleeve here in the upcoming weeks. So I'm pretty excited about what we've got in store for spring quarter. But I hope as we sign off here, I hope everybody, especially Michael was telling us before the meeting started, that tomorrow is supposed to be 46 degrees in the city of Chicago. So if you're here, go outside, enjoy the weather, give your eyes a break. And as always, if there's anything that we can do to support you, feel free to let us know. But take care, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. And go watch Valorant. Cheer on the Blue Demons. Bye, everybody.